What up, everybody? It's May 8th. We're coming to you live from New Jersey, from Berlin, soon to be New York-ish, New Jersey area. Tata and Josh, we're here to tell you all the latest news about crypto. What's up, everybody? How's it going? How's it going, Josh?
Sup, y'all. Oh, man.
So, what's going on? You're coming to New York. It's a really big week here. Today's May 8th. Starting on Thursday, I've got action. I've got a panel / a performance on Thursday night. There's like stuff on Friday. I've got a thing in Colombia. But then really all the blockchain stuff happens with the Women on the Blockchain event in Williamsburg on Sunday for Mother's Day. Nice. And then apparently there's a list of 140 parties. I am waiting for it to be delivered to me. And we will be tearing up the town, making friends and talking about the good, wonderful things that Bitcoin and blockchain can do for you. So you're coming. Yeah. That's cool. That's very unusual. What made you decide to do this? All those meetings that you have set up?
Yeah, all the meetings. Got plenty of meetings in New York, and also to actually see my good friend face to face, Tatiana. And
I wasn't expecting that, but I like that. That's a good answer.
Yeah, and I'm really looking forward to it. You know, Consensus, the actual event is one event, but you know I am finding them a little bit too ridiculously expensive. I mean, come off it, guys. Lower your ticket prices. Please, just whatever. Stop being such tools. $3,000 a ticket. What do you think? Anyway, around that event, there is a massive, blockchain week, basically, crypto week in New York. And even though New York has slapped everyone with the bit license in New York, still the biggest events in the world pretty much happen in New York, and this is this week. So very, very excited.
This is the biggest event of the year. I mean, I don't know if you can really say that. I consider LabBitConf to be my favorite conf of the year.
Yeah, that's.
But is this the biggest? Is this the most impactful? Oh, it kind of feels so gross. Consensus is always a little bit like shilly, not shilly, but just stiff and banky. Yeah, and lame. Like and nobody knows how to get in. Like I've heard so many people complaining. How do you get a speaking slot? Is it pay to play? And look, I get it. Conferences have pay to play, and that makes sense. They got to open the doors. But I think that was one of the things originally that gave me the impression that it's shilly. Oh, and the $3,000 price ticket.
Yeah, look, I've been to some events where it's just Shillville. Basically, you go there, and every single speaker is just shilling their coin or their product or their ICO, and it's the most boring thing ever. Nothing inspirational, nothing educational, just people trying to sell you stuff, and it's just like being in a massive ad and then paying for it, which is pretty awful. So, but actually, I was just at Amsterdam at Changes conference.
Who is that? What's that conference about?
Well, chain, it's got the word chain in it, and it's Changes, so that was kind of cool. But it's about blockchain, Bitcoin, crypto. Pivex was there. BitBay was there. There was a lot of these sort of alternative currencies.
I like Amsterdam. It's a very cool town. I mean, not for the obvious reasons, like, oh, I like Amsterdam, like whatever. Everybody likes Amsterdam for that. But I actually really like the aesthetic of everything. I thought culturally it's cool. I do like the cafes because they're a little bit more of a chill social environment than
it's a very libertarian minded city, of Europe, actually. Like prostitution has always been legal.
Oh, really? I didn't forget about that.
Yeah, drugs have always been legal. As long as you don't harm anyone else, they're good with it, pretty much. So it's really been this sort of this torch of liberty within Europe all through the ages, and a lot of trade, a lot of art has come out of there. Of course, Van Gogh is one example, but a lot of artists used to meet there because it's such a scenic place. It's so beautiful.
I couldn't agree more. It really is, and I like that. There's, that bike culture. I don't like getting run over by the bicycles. I feel like that is 100% very likely to happen.
Probably.
Yeah. But I still like it. I'm like, ooh, the bicycles.
Oh, yeah. And it is really unreal seeing the amount of bikes. It's fantastic. It's like China in the 80s. It's amazing. But yeah, anyway, we were at the conference and we launched, Vaultoro, I'm the CEO of Vaultoro, the Bitcoin Gold Exchange. We were the first exchange in the world to offer a full allocated gold pair against Bitcoin, so people didn't have
What does that mean? For people that don't know what that means.
So if you trade into USD on a trading platform like GDAX or Kraken or Bitstamp or anywhere else, you've got an order book and you're trading against United States dollars or euros. Well, on Vaultoro, you trade against gold that is in your name as your property, physical bullion that's sitting in a private vaulting facility in Switzerland, fully insured and fully audited. And that means if we go broke as a startup, because you don't want to trust startups with your money, it's just, most startups fail. Not that we're failing, we're doing very well, but it was one of the things we wanted to stop. So if anything happens to us, liquidators can't come in and take our clients' money because it's sitting not in our books, it's our client's name as their property, sitting in a high security vaulting facility. And we don't have a bank because it's fully bank independent. So that's the other thing. If you're using a normal exchange, if the bank goes broke or runs off with the funds or just closes the account, a lot of the funds can be lost like that with standard exchanges. So
does that happen a lot? The closing of the account, like how much is that going on?
It happens.
Is that just a Euro thing, or is it just US, or is that everywhere?
No, it's everywhere. It happens all the time. Yeah, they just will just shut your account and as an exchange, and then you have to a lot of exchanges try to hide it. They'll then try to cover it, but then they can spiral into a Ponzi scheme as they're trying to get more people in to cover losses, which they will eventually get back, but it could take years.
Wow.
When a bank freezes. So you have this massive counterparty risk, and if the bank goes fully broke in the meantime, then you've definitely lost your money. So with gold, you don't have that. So but anyway, so we were the first to launch a gold pair, and then we were the first to actually launch the glass books protocol, which is a protocol we invented in-house to have full transparency of the exchange, so anyone can always verify that we're fully above reserve. And we took a lot of inspiration from the blockchain. I can go into how that works some other day, but it's really, really cool. And what we launched at Changes was really, I was super proud, Tatiana. Like we are officially the first major exchange to accept Lightning Network deposits, meaning that you don't have to wait for 6 confirmations anymore. You send a payment and it's there instantly using the Lightning Network, and it's super fun to use. It's so cool.
That's fun. Yeah, I had a friend of mine who was showing me how quick it was working, and that was pretty impressive.
Yeah, when you said,
I feel like it's important to me, right? I don't know. I guess I don't really need things to happen that instantly, but certainly if you're trading and stuff.
Well, yeah, but also if you're buying a coffee, if you bought a coffee in December, it would cost you $30, $40. Whereas the Lightning Network, you pay for one time an on-chain transaction, and then from then on, you're paying only minuscule fees because you're not touching the actual blockchain. You're just sending these Bitcoins within smart contracts around, and then you settle every 6 months or something like that onto the actual blockchain. So actually, we should talk about that one day.
6 months? Yeah. Okay. First of all, we have time. We've got Kevin, but I don't see him back there. And I wanted to talk about Vaultoro today, which we haven't had a chance to talk about. So yeah, get into it. We've got a little bit of time.
So the Lightning Network, what it basically allows, it's kind of like a bar tab. So instead of paying for a drink every time you go to the barman and get your drink, you open up a tab and you can drink all night long and then just have one payment at the end. So the blockchain doesn't get filled up. You're just doing one payment. But there's problems with the bar tab, right? The barman has to trust me that I'm not going to just head out the door halfway through the night and say ciao without saying ciao. And I have to trust the barman that he's not putting extra drinks as I get drunker and drunker and drunker. And so the Lightning Network has solved these sorts of problems programmatically or mathematically in a trustless manner. And it's just such an elegant solution. There are still problems, and there is a lot of FUD out there trying to discredit it. And basically at Changes, I went through a lot of the problems that people have with it and talked about each one, and then launched the fact that we were the first major exchange to accept Lightning Network deposits in the world. So super stoked.
In the world. That always sounds good. I like having it in the world when I say things.
I know. Yeah. In the universe.
I don't know if we can say that. Yeah, we can. Why not?
Why not?
Yeah. All right. Yeah. On the first artist coin in the universe, you're the first exchange to accept Lightning. Boom. Yeah. We're just trailblazing. I like it.
Yeah, we're living on the edge.
So do you have anything else to tell us about Vaultoro now that this has been implemented? Any other action? We never talk about Vaultoro. That's why I'm saying,
I know. Yeah, break it out.
We'll bring Kevin on in a couple minutes, but yeah, I'm just curious.
Yeah.
Anything else, or should we do my announcement? Should we talk about our sponsors? Like, what are we supposed to do?
Well, just before we do, we're rebuilding Vaultoro from the ground up to have more trading pairs. So we're going to have silver, platinum, palladium. We're going to have other cryptos as well. So it'll be really interesting to have a price discovery system not based on fiat, because a lot of these coins are basically getting their price from fiat, which what the hell are we doing? We got into crypto to get away from fiat, and yet we're pricing everything against fiat. So what Vaultoro aims to do is give Bitcoin a price against gold.
Yeah, but who thinks like that? I don't think like that. Maybe other people do. I feel like, and it's good to shift everybody's thinking. That just sounds hard.
It is very hard.
I would rather just do it to dollars. Sorry. Well, I'm a bad libertarian.
Our guest will definitely tell us about that.
All right, cool. Well, wait.
Yeah. Let's talk about.
So should we do the guest? Should we play the new song? Should we?
Well, let's play your new song as a.
All right, cool. Well, first, before we do, let's talk about our sponsors. I want to make sure that we give a shout out to my friend Kirk over at the BitcoinCPA.com.
Yes.
Kicking A and taking names out in PA, Pennsylvania. For those of you that are not familiar with the New York metropolitan area, apparently everything is defined by New York, not even its own area. Anywho, yeah, get your taxes done. Don't try and screw over the man. You're never going to get away with it. Have Kirk teach you the ways. And then we've got Crypto Compare. I love those guys.
Yeah,
we're always talking about them because they've got the peg. Are they excited about your news? Did they tell anyone? They've got really good news coming out of their Twitter. They've got, daily things. Shoot, I haven't retweeted them in a while. But anywho, everybody check out Crypto Compare.
They're the people that will help with this transition, because you can compare your crypto against gold. So you can say, instead of saying, I've got, this many thousands dollars worth of crypto, you can say, I've got this many, kilos of gold or grams of gold.
I don't know, man. You're not going to sell me on that last part. I'm like, are you kidding me? It's hard enough to understand a lot of the things that happen in cryptocurrency. I'm not sure I need to deal with that one.
But someone in Venezuela would definitely not want to compare against the Bolivia, because But
they would want to go against the dollar too. But this is why we have the petrodollar. Everybody's all pissed, and now we got all these problems with China and stuff.
Oh yeah, China.
Russia just trying to cut us out. Those bastards. We're number one. I'm just kidding.
Sovereign tech.
Sovereign Tech. Okay, yeah. What's up with Brian? I haven't seen him in a while, but he's still cool, kicking A and taking names.
Check it out. Great podcast.
See how lady like I am? I don't even say ASS. I say kicking A.
Yeah, kicking A.
All right, enough of this. We've talked enough about all these people. Oh wait, I want to give a shout out to Andreas and the Bob Meetup group and Let's Talk Bitcoin and Pamela Morgan and everybody out in Chicago last week. I had such an awesome time, and we had such a magical trip. So I just want to say, thanks again. And everybody should check out what Andreas is up to. Let's do the song. Or should we leave the song for the end? Should we have Kevin come on?
Let's leave the song for the end. Yeah,
let's leave the song for the end. It'll be like outro music. People will be like, oh, that was so beautiful. And they'll like cry and stuff. All right. So we're bringing up the man with the plan, or maybe not, because the government, they almost got him and then they released him. It's like such a crazy story. Let's bring up Kevin. Kevin, come on up. I don't know. I think you have to unmute yourself.
Yeah, if you.
There we go.
Hey, Kevin, how's it going? Nice to see you.
Hi. Nice to see you.
Great. Hey, Kevin, how do I say your last name? Ines?
Ines, yes.
Oh, okay, cool. Interesting.
Ines.
Yeah, I'm glad we were able to connect.
Yeah, it was nice to see you in Toronto, Tatiana. That was cool.
Yes, it was very nice to be up in Toronto. I really like Sunny Ray, and his event was super cool. So I hope that people go to those. And then I also went to distributed markets. I can't like name. Now I'm just getting into trouble because I love all the different organizers for different reasons. I had a really nice run there for a minute. But yeah, so did you enjoy the conference?
I did. I was just there in the evening, but it was very packed with a lot of information, some very interesting speakers that evening.
Cool.
And and they had a nice spread of food there also as part of that. I didn't even know.
Oh, don't talk to me about food. I'm hungry. I haven't been eating lately, and it's like really, it's good because then you get like beach body ready, but it's bad because then you're like, I need food, and then you can just not eat, and nothing really happens to you. Eventually, you start to fall apart, and I'm not saying people should do that, but I'm just saying like You'd be surprised at how long you can go without eating.
Hey,
So
it's what you do the next few years. You'll be happy in 10 that you've taken care of your health.
There you go.
But ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce here, Kevin, because we have a phenomenal guest here on the show. And of course, we always have phenomenal guests. So you're among great, in great presence. In 2009, Satoshi wrote a white paper. And in that and then he released the Genesis block. And within that Genesis block, Satoshi mentioned that the banks are in for another bailout. But just as he wrote that, he could have written something like the ridiculous charge of counterfeit held in a county jail for 23 months without trial until his release. So, Kevin, because this is a man who has fought for liberty in the in terms of currency. He worked very, very strongly in having a metals-backed Liberty dollar. And if I got any of that wrong, let me know, Kevin.
Yeah, I think we should let Kevin. Kevin, give us your life story. People, inquiring minds want to know.
Okay, so I was a coin collector way back when I was a kid, and been fascinated by its value. And if you hold on to them, they have a collector's value also. And so, I heard about different things going on with the banks while I was living in Europe, and but I didn't know what to do about it. I taught, gave lectures on economics and social philosophy and things like this for a number of years, and teaching yoga and meditation too. And so I was trying to find some peaceful way to make some change that would be good for the entire society and bring more integrity back to our interactions financially, especially in light of what the banks have been doing for the last 100 years.
Mm-hmm.
And then someone dropped a 1 ounce piece of silver in my hand, and I went, "What is that?" I said, "Wow, is that ever cool?" And this is what they look like. It was a Liberty dollar.
Oh, cool.
I go, "What is this?" And they said, "It's new currency. It's new money." Really? Tell me about it. And so I went on to learn more and more about it, and eventually became a regional currency officer with the idea of bringing a voluntary currency into distribution that wouldn't go to the banks, because we don't want it to go to banks. We want it to stay in the community. Every time money changes between small businesses, another small business who puts more money back in the community benefits, right? And so I built that up after a while. But before I even started, I went to the police and told them what I was doing, because I didn't want to have any wrong understanding of what I was trying to promote here. And I had an interview with the main guy who was the head of the Asheville Police Department, formerly the police chief, but then he was a relations officer. At the same time, he invited somebody from the Better Business Bureau. Cool. So I talked about what I had done, what I was going to do. And they said, well, I already checked with the Secret Service. We can't enjoy it, we can't endorse what you're doing. But I checked with the Secret Service, and they said, you're not breaking any law, so, go ahead. And I said, well, I just wanted to make sure and that there wasn't any misunderstanding. Because if there is, you can come back to me and say, hey, I'm happy to explain things. And so after that, I went to the different police departments and precincts around the Asheville area, went to the Buncombe County Sheriff's Office, and the chief deputy. I couldn't get an interview with the sheriff himself, but the chief deputy said, wow, in 2000, what was it, 1984, I cashed in my silver and made a bunch of money. I think this is a great idea. So every policeman after that, I would drop them in my hand and said, have you read your circular? Oh, this is what they look like. Okay. So it was very strange for me when later on we have an announcement that from the US Mint that the use of the Liberty dollar as legal tender, now words are important in legal matters, as legal tender can land you 5 years in jail and a $10,000 fine. Well, that's not complete information. Yes, You can if you promote it as legal tender, but this is lawful money, as we said, according to the Constitution, which says that you're supposed to have only silver and gold as a means of transactions, honest transactions between people. And the Federal Reserve notes are not, according to the Constitution, actually legal, or they're not lawful. They're legal according to the statutes, but not according to the Constitution.
Wow.
So yeah, after a while, that was very strange. So we filed a lawsuit against them for slander and libel because they were not telling the whole story. They were misleading the public as to what we were doing. And in the meantime, I was on local radio and TV, even before that and after that, telling my story, what's going on, and had as many as 100 businesses in Asheville area that were promoting the currency. And so the local a local reporter with a newspaper asked the U.S. Mint spokesperson, "What's going on here?" They said, "Well, the use of the Liberty dollar, they claim that there's $60 or $20 million in circulation. If it was a small amount, it would be no problem, but $20 million? Oh, is that the way law works?
Yeah.
If it's a small amount, it's legal, and if it's a lot, it's illegal."
Right.
They just didn't want the competition.
Yeah.
So later on, we were moving towards having a lawsuit against them, and they actually in 2007 confiscated almost 2 tons of silver, gold, platinum, and copper pieces with Ron Paul's face on it, claiming they were counterfeit. He's not even dead yet, right? He wasn't dead then either. Aren't dead people supposed to be on coins? And how would someone confuse the face of Ron Paul on a piece with the regular currency that's used every day? Come on.
Well, wasn't their main complaint? Their main complaint was the use of the word dollar, right?
But there's Disney dollars.
Yeah. Interesting.
There's Disney dollars, and there's all kinds of other types of dollars.
Yeah.
I don't see Disney being sued. Of course, they're very much in bed with the government, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So this was one of the main reasons why we haven't issued a gold-backed crypto yet, is because governments just don't like the competition. It's the thing is with cryptocurrency, they just don't have the option to shut it down. It's just really, really hard. And why we deal in full allocated gold, because every user is its own account. Whereas when you have a currency that's backed by gold, you have to allocate it to the one company so they can come and shut down that one account and then it's done. But being able to have totally separated accounts is fantastic. And I think we are really living, because at the end of the day, for me, it's about competition as currencies, allowing the people to decide what is currency and not forcing it on people, not forcing it. And if I want to use a silver dollar, I should be able to use a silver dollar to trade.
Well, one of the beauties of this is that it ended up being about $60 million in circulation with Liberty dollar, which is less than a drop in the proverbial bucket. I mean, really but all those silver pieces are still in circulation.
Wow.
People are still using them because it's not centralized. It's all decentralized. And that's the beauty of the Bitcoin system. Now, any Bitcoin process, it'd be good for people to also have the physical gold and silver if they wanted it, right? And then it's got some integrity. It's actually countable.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So we ran this course for a while, and then we filed a lawsuit against them, slander and libel, as I mentioned. And the government tried to have our case dismissed by the judge, and the judge refused. So they thought, what are we going to do now? We were moving against them to have a judicial decision about the Liberty dollar, and that's when they slapped us with a criminal lawsuit. Well, criminal lawsuits have to be done first before any civil matters are heard. So that effectively shut down the company. They confiscated their stuff. I was arrested. There was 3 others that were arrested. The main guy they wanted was the founder. And
Was this on a federal arrest, or was it?
Oh yeah, counterfeiting is federal. But you know what? Why is was the FBI involved? The Secret Service normally does the arrests for counterfeiting. It's like, well, where did they come from, right?
Yeah.
They're not supposed to be. And I talked to the sheriff afterwards, because actually sheriffs have the opportunity to kick out the FBI from their county if they're
Oh,
not
really?
doing
Is that right?
what they're supposed to. Oh yes, he's the top law enforcement official in the counties. And I talked with him, and he said, "It wasn't me; it was the FBI." Yeah, come on, you could have done something, but he didn't, because that's free investigative work, and they're not going to go against the feds. So. Yeah.
It's such an amazing contradiction. And so what happened then? You got arrested for creating a peaceful currency that really didn't hurt anybody. What happened? What happened now?
Well, I was sitting there in county jail. It wasn't prison. Prison would have been nice. A lot more services. County jail, there's nothing going on. So we're waiting, so where's discovery? Like, what have you got? What's your evidence? And so it was going on 1 week, 2 weeks, a month, 2 months, 3 months. What's going on? Oh, the FBI gave the discovery all the evidence that they said they had against me. And it was in a digital format that was proprietary to the FBI. 4.2 million pages of documents that would have to be opened up, looked at, and then go on to the next with no search feature. So it would have taken 16,000 attorney hours by a public defender. They don't have the budget to be able to go through all of that. So it took
you rot in prison.
a long time. Huh?
You rot in county jail because they don't have the technology to search a document.
Well, the FBI has the technology, but it's proprietary to them, and they're not going to give it to the public defender's office. Come on. So after, I think it was after 18 months or something, 14 months, the public defender's office finally got money given to them. I think it would cost about $70,000 to put the whole thing up on the cloud, some new software, and then it was searchable. And they didn't have anything. It was all stuff taken out of context. There was a couple undercover agents that were involved, and I was very particular. Every question I answered in a context about what their question was and what I was doing. So they didn't have anything.
So can you sue for lost time for such a nonsense? I mean, it seems absurd.
Well, yeah, lost time and wages and, being able to enjoy life, but no attorney's going to take on the Fed. Was there? I would not be able to afford them unless somebody's willing to help me out. And because I had asked a number of attorneys, federal attorneys, whether they would take the case on contingency, which is you pay them when you win, but they weren't willing to take it. So I was stymied that I'd have to do it myself. And that's a whole other set of procedures involved with federal lawsuits, against suing the Fed. So at the end, I was not interesting for them after they convicted Bernard von Nothaus, the founder of the company, by some crazy journey.
I think he was in like Ross's prison for a minute in New York. I think that they had him there. I think the Liberty Dollar guy was like in the MCC for a minute. I don't remember why that sounded familiar to me though when that happened.
There was a bond violation apparently, and he was in for a week. But actually, the only sentencing that he got was 3 months house arrest and 3 years probation, which was shortened. And it was shortened to 1 year.
I mean, I'm glad that he didn't get in that much trouble, but it sounds like you were in jail longer than him. That's crazy. You're not inside of your company.
I know. It was nutty because they wanted to because it's conspiracy, right? Their claim. So if they could lean on me, get me to plead to something, lie against myself, then they'd have an easy time at trial, right? Oh, well, your co-conspirator, admitted this. So what happened there as far as the plea thing is that, first off, in his face is whatever, 20 years in jail, headlines in the newspaper. And then after I was in for 6 months, they offered me 14 months. Wow, not bad. 14 months. But I'd still be lying. I didn't intentionally want to defraud anybody, and they know it. So after another 2 months, in other words, 8 months, they offered me a 6-month plea. I said, you know what? I'd still be lying. I'd have a felony. I'd be kicked out of the country immediately. So I stuck it out, but they still didn't let me go out on bond because I'd be a flight risk. Wait a minute, I want to go to trial and I could get out on a plea bargain. So why would I flee to Canada when I had an opportunity to win the case, or
there's far too
take a
much
plea
logic.
and leave Canada anyways?
far too much logic for a government, given
Yeah. So when it came to the end, after they convicted Bernard von Althaus, the private detective an investigator who was working with the public defender's office came to me and said, "Will you take anything?" I go, "Yeah, if I'm not going to lie about it." So I said, "Well, maybe there was some IRS issue or something." I was like, I didn't know. What am I supposed to plead to? That they wanted to have some kind of conviction. So that's when they end up offering me something that would not get me deported because I'm Canadian, fighting for the U.S. Constitution and real money. They offered me a $300 fine, a petty offense. It's a federal parking ticket.
Oh my goodness.
No, searchable record. If you went on and searched my record, I have no, because the petty offense is not what they call moral turpitude. It's unintentional,
Well,
misdeed.
of course.
Like if you
it
went
was
to
always unintentional, but still, I mean, they took away a couple of years of your life. Jesus Christ. How did you recover from all that? What happened?
Well, the important thing
Mm-hmm.
for anybody you talk to who's been in jail is not to get bitter.
Mm-hmm.
That could eat you up. So I took it as, I just started getting more into my meditation, doing meditation 4 times a day, yoga twice a day, working out, reading, studying, memorizing poetry, whatever, to keep my mind, soft and not mean and bitter. And writing, I had this was mail to jail was going on then, and I think it still is, and that was beautiful. People wrote me letters from all over the country, and donations would come to help me out with commissary, and so that's what helped. And then as soon as I got out, it's like, I want to see my peeps. So where do they go? Pork Fest.
Nice.
Pork Fest and other places too, to see the people that have been supporting, what I've been doing. Is, "Wow, Kevin, what you doing?" Yeah, so that was really sweet. And then I did that interview at Pork Fest that's on Silver Circle, the movie. They did a very nice interview. Yeah.
Cool.
Right.
And I liked what they do. They have that Silver Circle themselves. That's a different way of doing things,
Yeah.
But you just keep going, take it in stride and use it as okay, when am I going to get free lunch and dinner and my laundry done, and I just have to chill out and keep my heart and mind soft, and keep going. Yeah.
Well,
so
Full story.
Yeah, well, just quickly, what was the actual charge for the firm? What actually brought? Why were they interested in shutting Liberty Dollar down in the first place?
How did they start the process of having their panties in the wad, you mean?
Yeah, like what got them? Who in the Silk Road case, you had Chuck Schumer get the bee in his bonnet. Who did you pee off?
My guess is that it happened shortly after I got front page news in the local paper that I was promoting local currency, right? And the article continued in the paper. Shortly after that, I got a visit from someone who I later found out was an undercover agent. And I also know that not far from Asheville, a former Federal Reserve chairman lives there or has a summer home. And my guess is that he got wind of this. What's this going on? And decided, because why Asheville, right? Austin, Texas was a much bigger thing going on there. They had over 300 businesses. And so shortly after that this undercover agent was there, and they told the FBI, hey, probably what's going on, and I don't like it. See what you can do. See if you can dig up some dirt with them. And Bernard was pretty feisty. Bernard von Nothau was pretty feisty, and if you read some of the things that he said about the Fed, it's no holds barred. I was more like, hey, FBI agents have to eat too. What's going to happen when your currency doesn't mean squat, doesn't buy anything? You'd have to have something real, because people don't trust the Federal Reserve notes anymore. And it's happened before, not worth a Continental, back in the time of the when the U.S. was under Lincoln was printing all kinds of money, and then you couldn't buy anything with it, a hyperinflation. And now we've got hyper digits. So anyway, so I was less confrontational that way, and Bernard was not pulling back, and was not scared by the U.S. Mint's warning that use of it could land you in jail. There was one guy who was like on the executive council. He quit as soon as that warning came out. He saw the writing on the wall. He didn't want any part of it. And so did another person who was on the executive council. He quit as well as soon as the heat started coming up. But hey, the damage or the whatever, I was out there. I'm going to stick it out and see if we can win this.
And see, this is one of the reasons a lot of people ask as well, why don't you make gold-backed crypto? And one of the reasons is that it is illegal to mint your own currency in a lot of countries. The governments just don't like competition. And that is why Satoshi Nakamoto created a decentralized cryptocurrency. There's no central issuance there. And that's a really interesting thing. You're going for rare numbers instead of a rare metal. And but they work so well together. And it's funny, it's taken a long time for a lot of metal and gold bugs to actually come across to the crypto side. But a lot of the crypto people are old school gold bugs. They understand the concepts of scarcity and why that's important. And not only scarcity, because you don't want something to be scarce that no one can have access to it, because why would you want money scarce? But you want it divisible. And that is really a big key to a good currency. You want it divisible so that everyone can have some, except it holds its value.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, I mean, the Liberty Dollar had a lot of those different ideas. Like they had also certificates. This is a $20 certificate, right? Backed by silver on deposit. By the way, the very same mint that makes the U.S. mint pieces, that mint made ours too.
Oh, really?
And somehow they never testified. I found that very suspicious. And here's a $1. This is a $1 piece.
Wow.
All right.
Interesting.
So we had 1s, 5s, 20s, 50s, 100s, all 100% backed, But here's another idea, and this is from Floyd, Virginia. It's a Floydian script.
Oh, wow.
Floydian script, I mean. So this is backed by labor, and there's people that have like currencies that are backed by labor. Or yeah, and then there was the idea for a while of using mercury dimes, right? Because they still buy a gallon of gas, 1 dime, just like before, because silver's gone up, and so is gas prices.
Yeah.
Report sound money and buy a gallon of gas for a dime, approximately. And I like the other guys. What was going on in New Hampshire also? The Shire silver strips, right? Put it in a card, and they can have various thicknesses, right? All 100%, 99.9 fine silver, right? That's what it looks like on the back. So there's all kinds of ideas, but the main thing is to use it and make it so popular that it would be detrimental to a community for it not to be there. And that's what I'd be interested in doing more of, and that is having some average businesses, coffee shops, gas stations, hair salons, whatever, that are used, nails, right? Ladies are always doing their nails, right? And so places like that to accept the Bitcoin, silverback Bitcoin or gold would be very cool, so that if you take it away, hey, don't take it away. We're thriving with this currency, and we don't know what the price of the US dollar is going to be tomorrow.
See, I think it's not only the price though. And I'd like to cover this quickly for the folks at home, because this is something that constantly gets overlooked. Why Bitcoin or gold and silver, why these asset-based currencies are so important, is because every dollar that is in circulation is actually lent into existence with interest that doesn't exist. So let's boil it down. Let's say there's a little desert island with 3 people living on it. And let's say it's Tatiana, me, and Kevin. Now, all of a sudden, I wake up and I say, right, I've invented this new thing called money, and I convince Kevin here to accept my new money. And you think, oh, well, I'm a bit tired of just trading chickens with coconuts because I don't need any more chicken. I've become vegetarian, but that's all Tatiana has. And so you say, oh, and you're sold on this currency stuff, and you say, well, how do I get this first dollar? We'll call it. How do I get this first dollar? Kevin asked me, and I'll say, well, you have to borrow it from me. Kevin, you'll say, well, okay, and then I say, well, you have to give me back you borrow $10, you have to give me back 12. And but hang on a minute, Kevin says, how can I pay you back 12 if this island only has 10? I've borrowed the first 10, and there is only 10. I said, well, you have to wait for Tatiana to borrow 10 as well. And you do a little bit of trade and then hopefully get some 2 off of her and you'll be right. And so that's exactly what he does. He goes off, does a trade with Tatiana. She'd borrowed some money as well. Tatiana also owes me 12, but she's now given Kevin 2. Kevin's paid me back. He's fine with his 12, but now Tatiana has only 8, but she owes 12. And so she needs to wait for someone else on the island or Kevin to borrow again. But what happens every cycle, less and less actual currency ends up on this island and more debt ends up on this island. And if you zoom out, that island is exactly what Greece looks like. Greece owes all of Europe's debt. It doesn't have enough money to pay it back. In fact, there isn't enough money to pay it back. And many people don't realize debt-based money is a fundamentally corrupt monetary system. And so, you can get all fun about the crypto mad gains of all the money you're making, and or even if you're hoarding silver when it's gone up to $50 in early 2000s, be totally happy with those investments. But at the end of the day, you're missing the point. The point is asset-based money that's found in the ground. Gold is not lent into existence. It's found in the ground, or silver, and spent into existence. It's a rare number. It's found and spent in existence. Bitcoin is a rare number found and spent into existence. And these fundamental differences are something that many people bypass.
Right. And one of the biggest culprits, of course, is governments, because they just write a check to their central bank, whatever number they want.
Yeah.
Right. And then they get all this credits towards that they have to pay back to the central bank at interest. Oh, by the way, the people in the government are the same people in the banks too. So it's basically they're lending and supporting each other. And then they can buy and do whatever they want in the country. But everybody's prices start going up. And labor gets further and further away, as far as what they're paid. And so we're seeing huge divisions in societies across the globe where the wealthy are getting even more wealthy because they're playing the games with the government, and average person is having a rougher time. So what do they do at the end? They say, hey, we don't have any of this money that we can do things with. Let's trade in other ways. Let's trade in ways that support us and keeps our community alive, because it's not all going to those centralized corporations and the Walmarts and other places. Instead, we're supporting local, and we have a greater control and of the quality that we receive. We know where it comes from. It's not tainted, And so yeah, it's like, how big can this debt bubble go until people say, hey, enough is. My sense is that governments are going to start saying, hey, US, Russia, we're not playing your game anymore. This is crazy. We're going to support our country and figure out a way to be self-sufficient, But then they bring in the military. They don't like that, right? So what's next, Tatiana?
I don't
What's
know.
the solution?
I have
More
no
music
idea.
inspires
More music.
people to be great.
Yes, I think the world needs more music. So I'm going to play you guys a new song. Unless, Kevin, where can people catch up with you? Like if they want to hang, talk to you. I don't know what you're working on in terms of promoting or whatever, but I just thought it was a neat story. But is there a way that people can connect with you, learn more about, your journey?
I think just directly on Facebook, I'm fine. Kevin Innes. I'm in Toronto, Canada. And things I'm doing also is getting better at nonviolent communication, which I also practiced in jail quite a bit, and other forms of creating well-knit societies where consensus decisions are how you move together with ethical means for ethical ends. The whole concept of you and I, Tatiana, had a dialogue in Toronto, but with what's the other? Is it John? What's the other fellow's name? What's
I
his
don't
name?
know. Oh,
No,
Sonny?
who's with us?
Oh, Sonny?
Who's with us? No, right now on this
Josh.
call. Josh. I thought I said John. Yeah. So we're having a trialogue of sorts. Dialogue, trialogue, octologue. Robert Podolsky talks about octologues in his book Flourish, and it's fantastic.
I like a good octologue.
Yes.
I don't know what an octologue is. All right, great. Thanks, Kevin, very much for joining us. We'll see you soon, I hope.
Thank you very much, and love your work, Kevin.
Ciao, ciao.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Okay, so Josh, I was thinking about, yeah, that was cool. I was thinking about music and how I don't get to put things out. But a few weeks back, me and my friend Ari, we recorded an old Cat Stevens song that I love. Everybody knows I love Cat Stevens, and he finally finished mixing it. So I never get to play music on the show, and I'm going to do that through this method, I guess. Okay, cool. So hang on one second. We're gonna do it super ghetto style by turning my microphone, and hopefully it won't sound like trash. But here it is, everybody. Enjoy. How Can I Tell You? Cat Stevens cover song by Tatiana Josh. All right, how do you do this?
See you, everyone.
How can I tell you that I love you? I love you, but I can't think of right words to say. I long to tell you that I'm always thinking of you. I'm always thinking of you, but my words just go away. Just go away. It always ends up to one thing, honey, and I can't think of right words to say. Whoa, 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 whoa. Wherever I am, boy, I am always walking with you. I'm always walking with you, but I look and you're not there. Whoever I'm with, I'm always talking to you. I'm always talking to you, and I'm sad that you can't hear. Sad that you can't hear. It always adds up to one thing, honey, when I look and you're not there. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Feel my arms around you, like a sea around a shore. Each night and day I pray, and hope that I might find you, in hope that I might find you, because hearts can do no more, can do no more. It always adds up to one thing, honey, still I kneel upon the floor. Oh, 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 oh. How can I tell you that I love you? I love you, but I can't think of right words to say. I long to tell you that I'm always thinking of you. I'm always thinking of you, but my words just blow away, just blow away. It always adds up to one thing, honey, and I can't think of right words to say. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Ladies and gentlemen, Tatiana Morose, the one and only, the Liberty Queen.
Thank you. I'll take that. That doesn't really make much sense though for an anarchist to enjoy that. But I am Queen Tatiana on Twitter. So if y'all want to follow me there and retweet that song, it's pinned. I got to repin it and put some other things. Oh, thanks, Kevin. So Kevin liked the jam too, so that was fun. Yeah. Anywho, all right, so next week, Zen Cash Party, Monday night. If y'all want to come, you better write me a message. Maybe I'll invite you. No, I think basically anybody from the Zen Cash community can come, so it's not that exclusive. But anywho, yeah, I don't know. I'll see you in just a few days, Josh. Thanks, Kevin, once again for coming on the show. Thanks, Javi, for running things on the back end. And I don't know. I don't think we have a show next week, but we'll be back in a couple weeks, and we've got some content coming out.
You know.
Oh yeah. I should mention my company. Everybody should find out about my company, Crypto Media Hub. Yeah. We can help your business. I feel like by saying like with our big mouths, and I'm like, I don't know. It sounds like a little creepy. So yeah, I don't know. Like we're good.
You know, she might not be the best at selling her own business.
Worst sales pitch ever.
We actually used Tatiana back in the early days, and we got a lot
of red flames. Just woo! I swear to God, I'll do a better job with this another time.
No, and and thank you to all of our subscribers to the show. We get so many subscribers every week, and we forget to thank them all. So thank you very much. If you're watching this on YouTube, hit subscribe, hit that little bell, like us, do all that jazz, you know, all the normal stuff.
You're such a good promoter. Do you want to work for my company? All right, cool. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you all next week. And oh yeah, wait, aren't they supposed to write Dave if they want to sponsor the show? Since I've done such a good job selling. Dave over at PTC Media can help you guys. Here it is. Dave at ptcmedia.org. All right. The whole end of the show is completely devolved. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you in New York. Bye.
Adios, amigos and amigas.